We are here ready to get into the finals of the Tournament of Champions. We have Lucas with the Arceus Mewtwo V Union deck up against Owen, of course, with that Ice Rider Calyrex deck with the Palkia V-Star in it. I'm excited to get into this. That Arceus Mewtwo deck is going to be a very interesting one to watch.
I'm really excited too. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait. For people who haven't seen how this deck works, it's once that Mewtwo V Union comes out, it kind of is unstoppable. So why don't we go over, and we'll go ahead and just watch the finals.
We'll get into it and see how it goes. All right. So we are here waiting on the finals here. I think we're just waiting on Owen here to accept the friend request, or is that we're watching? Oh no, I think we're watching Lucas or Owen. Are we? I don't even know. We're just waiting on one of the.
We are watching Owen, who's the Ice Rider player. We are watching from his POV, and he is sending that match over to Lucas. So I do want to take a second here to talk a little bit about Lucas. So what we know about him is that in 2021, he did get 9th in that Players' Cup 3 Global Finals, as well as in the 2019 season, did get a top 32 at this Sao Paulo Regionals. So definitely some accomplishments there that need to be talked about. And this is going to be a pretty interesting match. I mean, who would have thought that a Mewtwo V Union would be sitting here in the finals of the Tournament of Champions?
I know, it's crazy. And there's actually 2 Mewtwo V Union decks that could have been in the final. So that's kind of crazy to think about. That Mewtwo V Union is actually starting to see play now when everybody kind of just wrote it off as not a very good card.
I mean, I agree. And it kind of just came out of nowhere. And so I'm really excited to see how it's going to pair up against this Ice Rider. This is very interesting hand from Owen, to say the least.
Yeah. This definitely an interesting start for Owen here, but there is a lot of mulligans. Oh my god, there's quite a few. Yeah, that is one thing when you're playing a deck with only 4 basic Pokemon is you're probably going to mulligan quite a bit, and it looks like Owen just got mulligan into a very good hand. He's got the VIP pass, double Ice Rider. Yeah, basically the perfect start.
Right, and that is something that is really interesting about the Arceus Mewtwo V Union deck is that you are guaranteed to start with Arceus, but as we've talked about before, with an Arceus, we need an energy.
Yep, and that'll be an interesting thing. I think the Lucas does play 12 energy in total, so hopefully Lucas can maybe find one here on the Arceus, but I wonder actually, who do you think is more favored in this matchup, the Ice Rider or the Mewtwo deck?
Well, I mean, in terms of early game, I'm going to have to maybe say Owen with the Ice Rider here, because especially with Owen going first, and with his hand looking how it is, Owen does have the guaranteed knockout on the active. So if Lucas doesn't get out another Pokemon, which, because we know that the Mewtwo V Union, I mean, the odds of it coming out this turn are near to none. I mean, we need another Arceus on the bench this turn, otherwise Lucas will be losing the next turn.
That is true. Yeah, Lucas does actually, maybe one thing Lucas can do kind of in this matchup is the fact that Lucas can just one-shot these Arceuses over and over again. That could be a very big deal for Lucas here. Being able to KO these Arceuses makes it so that we might not be able to see Lucas ever get to build up that Mewtwo V Union, or even get to the point where he finds it, because these Arceuses are just going to keep falling over and over again. And Lucas doesn't play any Raihan or anything, so it's really just down to whether or not these Arceuses are going to be surviving turns or not. Now, one thing is, Lucas does play 2 Tool Jammers in the deck, and Tool Jammer is really good because it means that Ice Rider will have to find that Tool Scrapper, because without the Choice Belt, the Ice Riders are not killing the Arceuses. So that is one thing that Lucas can use here kind of as a defense mechanism, is that Tool Jammer.
Right, and we see that Pokestop edition there, something from the new Pokemon Go set that had just come out recently, where you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and you discard them unless they are an item card. If they're an item card, you can then put them in your hand. A very risky and a very, very tempting stadium to want to fall into, but as you could see, did discard that Adventurer's Discovery there that could have got some of those Mewtwo V Union pieces to help Lucas set up that Mewtwo V Union a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that is a pretty big discard there off of the Pokestop. Pokestop is a very gambly card. Sometimes you can hit hot with it, and then sometimes Pokestop can discard resources. But it's a really good card to have in a deck like this Mewtwo Arceus deck. There's a lot of items. There's Hyper Potion, Trekking Shoes, Pokegear, Tool Jammer, and you can also use Pokestop to sometimes find other Mewtwo pieces into the discard pile, which is a very, very good thing.
Right. Looks like maybe a little bit of technical difficulties here with maybe some internet connection.
Yeah. Oh, ooh. It looks like the stream cut out. Oh no. Hopefully everything's good on Lucas's end.
Oh, my imagination is rolling wild with what could be happening in this match right now. I mean, we know that Owen is going to be able to knock out that active Arceus V, and
Yeah.
I mean, with Lucas knowing that, attaching that psychic energy to the benched Arceus, we know that it's going to be a tough one. I mean, I have to say that I think Owen is kind of more so favored in this match, but why don't we head over to the casting booth until we can maybe get these technical difficulties sorted out?
Yeah. Just gonna wait, I guess. See what happens. So unfortunately, we do see a bit of a disconnection issue there. Hopefully, we can get it all sorted out and we can resume the finals here. That'd be a very disappointing way to end this tournament, is having a disconnection causing no match to happen. So hopefully, it all gets sorted out really soon. But while we're here, I think it's maybe important to maybe just talk about the matchup a little bit, kind of talk about both decks and how both decks can kind of counteract the matchups for both players.
Yeah, I mean, really, Lucas needs to get out the Mewtwo V Union as soon as possible. I mean, that's really going to be the only answer to that Ice Rider. Like you said, with those two Tool Jammers, it's going to be a little bit harder for Owen to kind of navigate around that to be able to one-shot those Arceus V stars, with it being only limited to the 250 damage. And it looks like there is no Charon's Care, but we do have the Cook, the Hyper Potions, different ways to heal the Arceus V stars in the meantime. But it's tough. I mean, I think as long as that Mewtwo V Union is not out, I think that Owen will have the upper hand.
Yeah, I think the big thing is for that Mewtwo player. The Mewtwo is definitely good, but you have to get it down to play first, and sometimes that can take a few turns just because it is a bit slower. The Arceus deck has no Meowth in the deck, so really all you're doing is relying on Professor's Research, a few Pokestops, Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, and sometimes Trekking Shoes to actually discard Mewtwo pieces. So sometimes it can be hard to actually get Mewtwo pieces going efficiently here, which is a big deal here for the Mewtwo deck. But however, if that Mewtwo does hit the board and is built up, Mewtwo does have Final Burn that does 300 damage. If you combine that, of course, with the Choice Bell, you can just go in and just one-hit KO every single Ice Rider, Calyrex, and that can be very, very good for the Mewtwo deck. Also, the spread attack is really good too, because you're able to maybe knock out Sobbles and stuff. That's another option that you have in that matchup, is being able to spread damage, knock out Sobbles, and you even have 310 HP. We know the Ice Rider deck does play 2 Choice Bells and 1 copy of Leon. Now, that is enough to actually one-hit KO a Mewtwo. You can go Choice Bell, Leon, Max Lance for 310 damage, but Mewtwo with a Tool Jammer on it can also prevent that from happening, because Mewtwo definitely can get one-hit KO'd by Ice Rider. Honestly, yeah, I think I have to say Ice Rider is most likely favored in this matchup, just because of the fact that it one-hit KOs nearly everything in the deck. Even the Mewtwo isn't safe if those Tool Jammers are discarded with Tool Scrapper.
Right, and as well as the Mewtwo V Union not being guaranteed to be out early, the Ice Rider is just being able to do that much damage as early as turn 2, usually guaranteed. I mean, To me, that just seems like enough to be favored in the matchup alone. The fact that the Ice Rider has the more consistency to be able to do that type of damage early on. Whereas with the Arceus Mewtwo V Union, we're also relying on those pieces not being prized. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, that's
And
another thing.
even with the Hisuian Heavy Ball, technically the pieces alone are not basic Pokemon. You cannot get those out of the prizes with the Hisuian Heavy Ball. The only way they are coming out of the prizes are with Peonia.
And that sometimes doesn't even work. I mean, the deck only has one Peonia, and even then, the Peonia doesn't always guarantee you the Mewtwo pieces. I've played plenty of Uni decks with Peonia before, and sometimes the Peonia doesn't even find me the prize piece because it's in the other half of the prizes that I did in Peonia for. So definitely the Mewtwo deck, while it is good if you have all the Mewtwo's in the deck, it's definitely good. But you also kind of rely on your Arceus surviving the turn. The one thing the Arceus deck can do, though, is against Ice Rider going second versus Arceus. Sometimes Arceus is able to go Choice Belt Boss for knockouts, as Ice Rider V only has 210 HP, which does make it easy to KO for an Arceus Choice Belt combo. And that is one thing that maybe the Arceus deck can maybe do in the matchup, is maybe KO an Ice Rider if Owen isn't able to get like multiple Ice Riders down and has to rely on Palkia, which we know Palkia isn't one at KOing Arceus V-Star a lot of the time, since, there's only 4 Arceus in the deck in total. And that is another thing that the Arceus deck can do, is going first versus Ice Rider, is to be able to go Choice Belt, knock out the baby Ice Riders before they evolve into the VMAXs, and maybe be in a spot where there is no way to have Arceus get killed the following turn with a Max Lance.
Right. And I think with the Ice Rider player going first, I really don't see a way that it can go well for the Mewtwo V Union, considering if somehow your hand you're not able to get out at least another Arceus, most likely that Ice Rider can knock out the active on the second turn. So it is tough. It is tough. Even if we get the energy attachment to an Ice Rider, all we would need is a Melanie the next turn with another attachment and a Choice Belt to be able to knock out the active. But it's interesting because with that Mewtwo V Union with the Cysplosion, like you said, if they do that early, bossing up an Ice Rider V knockout, Cysplosion, you can spread out that damage counters, take out all, like, pretty much you can do 3 Sobbles at once, right? That's only 120 or 12 damage counters out of the 16, and take out all their resources, and you're left with just one more prize after that?
Exactly. Yeah. I think the Arceus deck is pretty good in the meta. I think the Arceus player did maybe hit one of the worst matchups they could have hit in this Ice Rider Calyrex deck. I was kind of looking at the Arceus list. There's a lot of healing. There's Cook. There's 4 Hyper Potions. There's Tool Jammer in the deck. There's a lot of ways to limit the damage a lot of decks can actually do to you. But unfortunately, when you're playing against something like Ice Rider, where they can just go, 280 every turn, one-shot your Arceuses. They also can one-shot your Mewtwo if you're not able to maybe stop those Choice Belts from, and the Leon combo from happening. But yeah, I think the Mewtwo deck is pretty good in the meta right now. I just think that, definitely not really very favored against something like Ice Rider Calyrex, as opposed to something like maybe Arceus Pikachu, or another, like a Palkia deck, or even something like Stonejourner VMAX.
Right. I do think that the Arceus Mewtwo V Union does have a favorable matchup, and most of the decks in the meta right now, I really think that this might be the one where it's going to be really, really tough. It's going to be a really tough matchup. I mean, I actually played against this at locals last night when I was playing Palkia, and I don't think that there is a world where Palkia can actually beat this deck.
Yeah,
and you are never one-shotting that Mewtwo V Union. Never.
Yeah, and especially, we know that Mewtwo is already being popularized, not even in its own attacking deck, just as a stall deck. We already know that Mewtwo has other win conditions too, like with the attack where you can constantly heal every single turn.
Right, and so we actually did just get word that we are working with Lucas, who is the Arceus Mewtwo V Union player, to get his match up and streaming so we can be watching from his point of view. We apologize for the technical difficulties. That is just something that happens, unfortunately, with the technology day and age that we are in with these online tournaments, is that sometimes internet just goes out.
Yeah, not much you can really do, but hopefully we're able to get it all back up and running, and we can get into the finals here and crown our champion for the tournament.
And it will be really interesting to see it from the Arceus Mewtwo V Union point of view, just with kind of how that deck works. There's actually really no draw support other than some of the supporters like the Professor's Research and Marnie. Other than that, you are relying on some trekking shoes, some top decks, and a whole lot of wishing. But
Yep, sums it up.
the deck has been proven to be pretty successful, making it thus far in the Tournament of Champions. So it's going to be really interesting to watch from that point of view as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this finals match. And I guess we will. I guess we'll just wait until the match ends up starting, and I guess we'll be back with the match.
Yep. So we will be back hopefully soon from Lucas's side of view. But until then, hang tight, because this is going to be a match that you are not going to want to miss.
That's for sure. All right, I think we are back now. We are going to hopefully be able to show a match. I think we're going to be showing Lucas's point of view here with that Arceus Mewtwo deck. So hopefully everything gets all sorted out here.
Yep, so let's go over there and check that out.
Let's get into it. Okay.
Freaking finals match, man.
I know. Why does that have to happen during like the most
Fun-
important match? Okay. All right. We are in it. Finally, going to get into the finals here. Again, we're looking at Lucas's point of view. Going to be watching the perspective of the Arceus Mewtwo player, which will be interesting.
Right, yeah, so we're going to be seeing him go first, which is a little bit better for this matchup. We know that going first against the Ice Rider, especially with these Arceus being within the one shot of the Ice Rider VMAX, is quite frightening. But it looks like here we're at a pretty good spot with being able to go ahead, and we have 2 quick balls, can go ahead and discard one of those pieces. Unfortunately, a quick ball cannot get us another V Union piece. So we see that there are no V Union pieces prized, which is going to be really big for Lucas here.
Yeah, Lucas has a really good start. I mean, double Arceus has the energy, has the research, already has a Mewtwo piece in the discard. Honestly, if Lucas can draw well enough, there's a world where we could see this Mewtwo hit the board on the second turn here, which is awesome. So we'll see if he can do that. And I think that's one thing that Lucas has to do, is he has to get that Mewtwo in play like as soon as possible to have a shot in this match.
Right, I think something that would make this hand just a little bit better is either another Mewtwo V Union piece or a way to guarantee that V-Star for next turn. We are given the energy with the double turbo and the basic energy, so we know that we are going to hopefully be able to get a Trinity Nova off for next turn. Decides to maybe not even bench another Arceus V?
I think, yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, we know that Owen does have an escape rope in the deck, and there's a world where you could trap Arceus, because I think Lucas realizes that if he can pull off this Mewtwo next turn, he's going to be in a really good spot, and he's going to be able to establish quite a bit of stuff here. And if he mentions Arceus, I could get stuck in the active with like a rope or a boss or something. So, and yeah, the Arceus
And no
we know
way to
is
switch
definitely not
out.
dying. Yeah, exactly. And we know the Arceus isn't getting knocked out anytime soon either, which is another pretty big deal.
Right, we know that this Arceus will be safe this turn. The most amount of damage to be done could just be the 40 from the Piers, but I think we are sitting in a good spot from Lucas's point of view with, you know, having that research in hand. We do have the energy. We have another, so I think we are sitting in a good spot with Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas got his ideal start. And again, depending on how well he draws off this professor's research, we might be looking at a turn 2 Mewtwo. And yeah, that is what Lucas has to do. We just actually see a research here from Owen.
And getting rid of that tool scrapper.
Ooh, that is huge. That is a really big discard. And actually, oh my god, Owen doesn't even get an Ice Rider or a Palkia down. That's a big deal.
We are keep calling for one. And as we talked about earlier, that tool scrapper was going to be huge for Owen.
Yeah, and yeah, Owen actually, he doesn't find the Arceus V-Star here off of the research. It is a good thing that no Ice Rider was down, and this Mewtwo, or this Arceus will be safe. There's a Pokestop. Let's see if this can find
my goodness, the
an
Pokestop.
Arceus piece. Oh, it does find shoes.
Luckily does not discard any Arceus pieces.
Yeah, does find a research. Actually, yeah, fails that. Obviously, gets the discovery off of it. No Arceus this turn. Yeah, it is good, I guess, that Owen was not able to get an Ice Rider down here. So this Arceus will not be getting KO'd this turn, most likely. And that is a good thing. And also, the Tool Jammer is huge, too, because we know that Owen's only Tool Scrapper is now in the discard pile, meaning that Ice Rider has to find a Leon to 1-hit KO this Arceus V-Star.
Right, and we knew that with the 2 Tool Jammers, he's deciding, okay, am I going to be putting that one on this Arceus, or do I want to hold on to it for the Mewtwo? We know that putting the Tool Jammer on the Mewtwo would make it impossible for the Ice Rider to be able to one-shot, even with the Leon.
Exactly, yeah. If Owen can get that other Tool Jammer in his hand on that Mewtwo, if it's able to come down this turn, that's huge. I actually think Owen should be able to pull off the Mewtwo here if there's no Marnie or anything. He does have Discovery, which can go Arceus, double Mewtwo piece, and then he can Starbirth for an Ultra Ball, and he has a Quick Ball. So yeah, I think Owen is able, Lucas, is able to actually get a Mewtwo in play next turn, as long as he does not get Marnied into a bad hand. And there is no
Right, and I
Marnie.
think yeah, we are going to see that Mewtwo
Mhm,
most likely come down here with the Adventurer's Discovery, like you said, being able to grab not only some Mewtwo V Union pieces, but the V Star as well. And we know that we can get some more with
mhm.
the Starbirth ability since there is no path down. This is actually very big for Lucas. This is actually very exciting. I'm really glad we're able to watch this from his side of view just to see. It looked like, with that one lonely Arceus he had going out, that there wasn't going to be much that he could do about it. Looks like he's going to go for the Ordinary Rod instead of the other Mewtwo V Union piece, which
Yeah,
he
I think
can
it's
grab the other piece
fine.
with the Ultra Ball.
He's guaranteed to get it. He can go Ultra Ball double piece away, grab another piece, and then Quick Ball that piece away, and then put the Mewtwo in play, and then build it up. I think he wants Rod, maybe knowing that he's down a few energies. That Pokestop he did a turn earlier did discard energy, but it looks like he's just gonna get double turbo here. I wonder if maybe he wants maybe like a choice belt though to one shot Ice Rider if he doesn't get boss this turn, but I guess the double turbo makes sense too, because if I guess the Ice Rider is going to eye up a boss on the Mewtwo here, and then you want to be able to heal it with those hyper potions, and I think that's maybe what he's respecting here. But yeah, we're going to see the quick ball grab an Arceus. Not going to probably, well, actually, there's no Arceus left actually, but we're going to see the Mewtwo hit the board here, and we're
Oh
finally going
my
to see it.
gosh. We are
Yeah, and
putting this
that's the
Mewtwo V
power.
Union into play. Love this graphic
Hmm.
here. Boom, boom. These 4 cards turning into 1. And let's keep in mind as well, the V Union is going to be acting as a 3 prize card as well. So if the
Hmm.
knockout does happen to happen on this Mewtwo V Union, it is going to be a 3 prize card. But I do respect the play that he did with the DTE, making to where he can use that hyper potion, and he does have the other psychic energy in hand. So he could potentially knock out, an Ice Rider VMAX. Well, I guess not with that the jammer rather than the belt, but do some
Yep.
pretty heavy damage and definitely knock out a V.
Yeah, that's a big Barney too, actually, from Owen here does get rid of that hand there, but I guess the Mewtwo's not going to be hit anyways. It's not a big deal, but there's a Hyper Potion anyways. That's pretty good. So I guess Lucas could sit on the hand, hit the Ice Rider. I wonder if maybe Owen is going to eye up a play where he actually uses Psy Explosion this turn, because what he could do is he could go knock out a Sobble and then set up the Ice Riders for final burn knockouts. That is something that maybe Lucas maybe eyes up here, is to just knock out a Sobble with Psy Explosion, and then set up both Ice Riders to be KO'd, assuming that he's able to accumulate enough damage. I think he can also just KO a Drizzle with Psy Explosion too. Just needs to put 2 on both Ice Riders and then knock out a Drizzle, and I mean that could put him in a checkmate scenario.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think he has this game wrapped up no matter what, because we can see, like you said, that explosion. We know that the Arceus is going to take the hit here, but we know that is not going to be knocked out this turn because we already used the Marnie. We're not going to be able to see a Leon. There's no quick shooting. We know that this Arceus cannot be knocked out with 250 being the max. Looks like that they're going to
Ooh.
reserve those energies, just use Ride of the
Yep.
High King here.
Actually finds another double turbo. He could put so I guess Lucas can go double turbo on Mewtwo, and if he finds 2 hyper potions, he can heal 240 damage, which basically makes Ice Rider Calyrex's damage output 10 damage. So I wonder if he's gonna attach it. The problem is if you attach it, you don't do as much damage with final burn, which makes it harder to kill the Ice Rider. So I wonder if
Right,
he's
you would
gonna do
have to
that.
be hyper potions.
Yeah, but
So
there is
yeah,
that
we
Psy
are gonna go for
Explosion.
the spice. Is he? He's like, oh well, maybe. Do
He's
I?
thinking about it. He's thinking about it. I think it is probably the best play, right? Knowing that there's no hand disruption or anything in hand. Yeah, just a Psy Explosion knocks out the Sobble, and I think you're gonna want to put 2 damage on both of the Ice Riders. Well, puts I guess he has enough in total, but okay, I guess that works too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess now
and I
both
mean,
Ice
this is
Riders are
checkmate.
KO'd.
Th-
Yeah, that
This
is
is gonna be a checkmate situation.
yeah, I think Lucas has this game wrapped up. That's pretty insane. I mean, we were talking earlier about how this Arceus Mewtwo deck might be unfavored versus Ice Rider, but because of the fast Mewtwo play there and the fact that the Tool Scrapper got discarded, that was really good for Lucas, and it allowed Lucas to just take control of the match and basically say, "Your Ice Rider may be scary, but not when I got a Mewtwo V Union in play, looking to destroy the setups."
Right, and having that hyper potion in hand, we know, especially now with the Melanie being used, we know that, and just handing over the turn to him,
Yep.
which we can do that final burn, even with the DTE, putting that 5 damage counters on it earlier. We know that we do have this game.
Yeah, that'll be 200 damage. And it looks like we are going into game number 3 here. And it looks like Owen takes the dub here. And this is going to be an interesting last match. I do think Owen, or I said Luke, I think Lucas gets it up, not Owen. But yeah, I think Owen might be favored into this next match here, knowing that Owen is going first. And that is going to be very big versus Arceus.
Right. Owen going first definitely is going to be an advantage for him because of, as we talked about, those Arceus Vs still being in danger even on Owen's second turn. We know that the Ice Rider can just knock out whatever's in the active at that point. So Lucas is going to have to try to play around that, make sure that he has another Arceus ready to go. But like we said, with the escape rope, we could possibly see an escape rope play if he decides to put his energies on the Arceus on the bench.
Exactly. And I'm actually curious to see here if Lucas is going to prize any Mewtwo pieces. I mean, Lucas got that Mewtwo in play really, really fast in that last game there. So
literally as quick as possible.
Yeah, the fastest Mewtwo. So I'm curious to see if he's actually going to prize any more Mewtwo pieces. Because if he prizes one, that's huge. He does have the Peonia in his opening hand here. And he does have that Turn 1 Arceus. And he has Pokestop, so he can try to dig a little bit here. But I think if Lucas wants to look through his deck here to see what he has prized, because if he researches here, he loses Peonia, and that means he won't be able to search his prizes for potentially any Mewtwo pieces, if there's any prize.
Right, and this top deck is really going to matter here because we aren't currently, as of now, we aren't able to look through the deck to see what type of situation we're going to be working with here, because we know that Lucas needs to get another Arceus set up on the bench. Otherwise, is a very large potential that Owen can just win.
Yep, I think that definitely is on the table here. I wonder if Lucas will maybe just Marnie instead, because I think he maybe wants to protect the Peonia. Lucas does play one Palpad in the deck to get back the Peonia, but I mean, it's still, you have to find the Palpad and the Peonia, and you have to get the Peonia back in hand with that Palpad to be able to play it. So yeah, if Lucas does prize Arceus, it's a pretty big deal.
And, you know, not having that, you know, handy dandy, trusty Inteleon engine where you can just find these pieces turn after turn whenever you need them, just be able to find them, search for them, do whatever you have. You only have your Starbirth ability to search for what you need, and it's only once per game, and that is if Path to the Peak is not out.
Yeah, here we go with that top deck. There's trekking shoes. Oh, and speak of the Palpad, ooh. I think he's going to have to grab that. Yeah.
He's going to go for the Pokestop play here. I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah, there we
go.
go.
That DTE.
That's a pretty big discard. He does find an Ultra Ball, though. So he will be able to search through his deck here to see what he has prized. I think you maybe just go Ultra Ball, Peonia, Marnie. You can Palpat in the back. And let's see, does he have all the Mewtwo's in the deck? There's... I
think there was 3. I think I saw 3.
I think there's 3. Let's see. Yeah, there's only 3. Yeah, good thing.
So we are going to need that Peonia.
Palpad. Yeah, good thing you do that Palpad, because he'll be able to Peonia here. And
right.
I wonder if he's actually also going to just research and not attach the energy. Maybe he wants to find a double turbo here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to high roll that double turbo to try to build up that Arceus. Doesn't find it. He does get the Peonia still, though, which is nice. See a Marnie there.
Right, so we have the Peonia for next turn, but now we are going to have a bunch of naked Arceus not being able to build up some energies on another Arceus. So, and we do see that Ice Rider V on the bench with 2 Sobbles, energy attached, choice belt on. It's looking a little tough over here. Gonna go ahead and put down the 3rd Arceus V to kind of just try to maybe protect from an escape rope play.
Yeah, this is not what Lucas wanted to see. This is maybe the worst case scenario. Lucas doesn't even have a good follow-up for next turn. Doesn't have an Arceus V-Star in hand. No Ultra Ball. He does have like a Peonia. He has a Pokegear, but I mean, if Lucas's turn doesn't go very well, he's not going to be able to kind of get anything going here, and he could fall behind quite a bit. And good thing, actually, he benched that Arceus because, yeah, like you said, the escape rope hit the board there.
Right, so definitely good thing he put down that 3rd Arceus V to protect the one with the energy on it. So we use that Irida knowing that now that the Arceus with the energy will be safe this turn, but like you said, we don't really have that much going on here. We don't have a guaranteed Arceus V-Star. It's, do
Hmm.
we use the Peonia to try to, and exactly like you said earlier, are we even guaranteed to grab that Mewtwo V Union off this Peonia? It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, this is sometimes why Peonia isn't always the best card for V-Union decks, because while it does help you find the pieces that are prized, it's, he only has, half his prizes to see. Does get a piece there off the top deck, which was pretty good. The Pokestop sticking is good too. He can play that here. He finds Ultra Ball and Tool Jammer, two really good hits there.
Two
Ultra Ball
very,
does
very good
guarantee it.
hits.
Yeah, actually, I wonder. Oh my God, he finds Adventure Discovery, but he grabs the Marnie. I wonder if it's actually possible for this Mewtwo to hit the board this turn. Um, I don't know.
It
Maybe.
really would just depend if he's able to hit that Mewtwo V Union piece off the Peonia. That's the only thing that we are going to be gambling with here, is that we have to hit that piece off the Peonia.
Yeah, it's good he's got the Tool Jammer too, maybe forcing Owen to have the Scrapper. The Scrapper could be prized. You never know. So let's see. Let's see if he goes Marnie or Peonia. He could just do a Marnie here, but the problem is if this Arceus gets knocked out, you basically kind of lose at that point. But it looks like, yeah, he's just going to Marnie. He's kind of just going to gamble and hope that this Ice Rider doesn't KO him. Owen
Yeah,
does
the
need to find
Tool
Tool
Jammer
Scrapper Melanie
is
Energy.
huge.
Yeah,
The Tool Jammer is really big for him here, and it's just he decides he's gonna go for the Starburst. Oh, okay, gonna use the trekking shoes. I was gonna say he decides to go for the
Yeah.
Starburst before those trekking shoes. Gonna discard the Psychic Energy, draw another card, gets another Pokestop, which does not help us right now.
Yeah, and
Just gonna
actually
go ahead and Starbirth.
Yeah, actually decides to hold on to the other trekking shoes, which is pretty interesting. So I wonder what he's gonna go for grabs Arceus and probably wants the double turbo. Actually looks at Tool Jammer. Yeah, he has to get the double turbo. Yeah, he can't attack without it. And I guess if the Arceus isn't getting knocked out this turn, maybe there's a world where this is gonna go pretty well here for Lucas here.
Right, I don't think that there's gonna be a boss play. We saw Owen grab the Melanie in the last turn, but that was before the Marnie. So we're not sure what is in Owen's hand currently, if he has an answer to this Marnie that Lucas did, if he's gonna have a way to attach both energies, do some damage on this Arceus, if he's, because we know that there's not gonna be able to be an escape rope play with that already being used. So really, he's gonna have to Melanie if he wants to attack.
Yep, and actually another interesting thing here too for Lucas, he's actually running a bit low on energies here. If he's able to even get Mewtwo in play and wants to build up with Arceus, he's already used up a lot of his energy, and he'd have to have them in the deck to search out. And if it's in there, if it's in his hand, and he doesn't find that Ordinary Rod, he's not going to be able to quickly build up that Mewtwo. There's a Melanie
Right.
right off the bat, and the energy. Ooh, all Owen needs is a Tool Scrapper to knock out this active Arceus.
And I'm not sure if we're gonna find it. And you know, that is, oh, we might be grabbing the Tool Scrapper here. That would be putting the knockout on this RCSV, which puts Lucas in a very uncomfortable position.
Yeah, if there is a knockout here on the Arceus, it's looking pretty grim. But yeah, there's the Scrapper. If Owen can get another Ice Rider down here, that'd be ideal. Ice Rider plus Scrapper knocked out on Arceus is pretty big. The nice thing, though, is Lucas does have another Tool Jammer, so he will be able to protect this other Arceus. But the problem is, if he doesn't evolve it, then it doesn't matter.
Right, and it is definitely smart that he was able to hold on to that Tool Jammer for a turn so he can protect that last benched Arceus, but this is going to be tough. He really is going to need that V-Star, and we are really going to need that Mewtwo V Union out as soon as possible. We did just see the POW pad being played, meaning that once that one boss goes down, we will not be able to see it again, but we are just 2 prize cards away from the game on Owen's point.
Let's see what Owen's able to do. Lucas can do here. He does draw a Rod. He can put the Arceus back into the deck if he wants to try to, protect it. Funny enough, he can put the Mewtwo piece back too. You probably don't want to do that.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, keep in mind, we still have one of those pieces prized. We are going to have to use that Peonia, but again, it's not guaranteed.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be hard for Lucas to kind of get this Mewtwo going, even this turn, or even the next turn potentially too, could be pretty tough. There's an Ultra Ball off the trekking shoes. That's pretty good.
Very good. And that Pokestop, as definitely as tempting as it is to use it can be, I'm wondering if maybe like a training court in this deck, or maybe even an energy recycler could be more beneficial to help get back those lost energies, because those energies in the discard pile aren't coming back now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lucas is running low on energies here. I've seen some Arceus Mewtwo lists play a energy recycler in the deck because it gets back 5 energy, but Lucas doesn't play that. So I wonder
Deciding
if
to attach 2 more
Mhm.
energies, maybe to stick with the Hyper Potion plays here. We still
Yeah,
don't
no
get
Mewtwo
the
piece.
Mewtwo V Union piece, but now we are guaranteed it with the Peonia. But what energies are we going to attach to this Mewtwo V Union at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could still do Union Gain, but do you really want to give up a turn where the Mewtwo is just going to be stranded and taking a hit? I don't know if he is able to give that up here. But yeah, let's see if this Ice Rider VMAX can hit the board here and attack this Arceus.
We don't have another. I mean, we don't have another Tool Jammer in the deck, so we can't put another Tool Jammer on the Mewtwo once it becomes live. And looks like we get those Shady Dealings and Teleon, so we can grab 2 trainer cards. Probably gonna get, maybe a bucket in that Ice Rider and potentially a backup attacker. And this is gonna be really tough for Lucas to come out of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Lucas can really win. I mean, all he has is an Arceus V here, and he can't put another Arceus down this turn because it's just easily knocked out by Max Lance. So I wonder what Lucas can really do at this point to kind of prevent him from losing the game, because he's not going to be able to get Mewtwo down. Even if he draws the Peonia here and he can guarantee the Mewtwo piece, I don't even think he's able to get the other pieces in the discard. So it's not looking good for Lucas at all.
Right. And like we said, it's, what energy is going to be attached to it. And I really like the energy recycler idea in this list, because we do get those 5 energies back into the deck, which we can then search out with Trinity Nova, attaching those energies to the benched Mewtwo V Union.
Yeah, that's really all he would have to be able to do here. But even if the Mewtwo V Union hits the board, right, that Ice Rider does have that Choice Bell Leon combo that could be on the horizon for the Mewtwo. And yeah, there's that bucket getting grabbed. So we're definitely going to see this Arceus take a hit here. And then all we would have to see next turn is, I mean, you know what? We could even see like a Max Lance for like 130 maybe, but I guess there's Hyper Potion. So yeah, I guess actually it might have been smart for Lucas to put all the energy on the Arceus to heal here. But yeah, I think Lucas now just has to make the tankiest Arceus he can, heal with Hyper Potion, and basically hope that this Arceus can take down this Ice Rider. So Lucas might not be out of the game yet, though.
Right. So it looks like we are going to do, it looks like we are, just doing the 130 Max Lance, which we can heal most of that with the Hyper Potion, knowing that Owen does not run the quick shooting Inteleon. So this Arceus is going to survive another turn. We are going to see that Hyper Potion healing the 120 damage, of course, discarding 2 energies. We have the research, so maybe it's not over yet. We could even grab a Mewtwo V Union piece here with this Ultra Ball and then research the hand.
Yeah, I actually think Lucas is in a pretty good spot. I kind of forgot he had that Hyper Potion play available, but yeah, the Hyper Potions are just kind of saving him here from being one hit killed by this Ice Rider. We know Owen has no Tool Scrappers left in the deck, so there's no way to remove the Tool Jammer, which makes it really hard for this Arceus to get knocked out. With no quick shooting Inteleon, this Arceus is not getting KO'd.
And has the Hyper Potion and the DTE in hand for next turn, so it looks like we maybe are going to be able to survive another hit as well. I'm wondering if he is gonna, he's definitely gonna have to save that Hyper Potion, knowing, okay, gonna go ahead and use it.
He's gonna play.
Suppose. I mean, actually, we kind of have to because of the Leon play, which
Right, yeah.
We could still get a knockout with the energy attachment and the Leon.
Yeah, it's not over yet. I think it could go either way here. Yeah, if there's a Leon still in Owen's deck, or if he does have it in the deck still, we might see the win here for Owen.
Yep. And as he just said, my only hope was Leon to be prized. So that was the one piece that Owen needed to win, and he was able to get it. And it looks like that Arceus V-Star goes down, and we are watching the Ice Rider take the win here for the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting last game there. When all hope seemed lost, Lucas maybe would have been able to crawl his way back in and still scrape out with a win there.
Let's head over to the casting booth so we can just talk about that whole situation there.
So yeah, that was pretty crazy for sure, and it's exciting to see that both players here in the finals put up a pretty good fight. I mean, I wasn't expecting Lucas to hold on for that long in that match there, just because, he just wasn't able to get a Mewtwo in play. That piece was prized. Didn't even find it off the prizes when he took a knockout. So it was really interesting to see how Lucas still was almost able to win that game.
I know, especially with going second, as we know, was definitely an advantage for Owen playing Ice Rider. Definitely an advantage going first. What a crazy finals game there. I'm glad that we got to watch a little bit from Owen's point of view in the beginning there, and then we got to switch up and watch Lucas for the rest of it. And very interesting matchup for the finals.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Lucas basically washed over Owen there in that second match. Once he got that Mewtwo V-Union in play, he was just able to just decimate the Ice Rider deck. And then that last game, again, that piece was prized. He kind of drew a little awkwardly. And honestly, I think in that entire match, he only got 2 pieces in the discard at most. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit more on the back foot, but Lucas still showed that the Arceus deck can still hold on thanks to the Hyper Potion spam that it had access to.
Right. And I think he played it perfectly while attaching those extra energies there and doing the hyper potion plays. And really, his only hope was the fact that Leon was not available or that Leon would have been prized. But that's just sometimes the power with those Inteleon decks, where if it's not in your hand, you can just search for it.
Yeah, being able to find that Leon at any given moment with Inteleon Shady Dealings was a very big deal there. And that was what Owen needed there to just take the match over. And I knew that Leon was probably going to see some light in that matchup, specifically because of how good it is versus the Tool Jammers and that Mewtwo V-Union. And it ended up being the reason why Owen won the game.
Right. So Leon definitely kind of the MVP for Owen, I would say, especially with, the tool scrapper being used early, having that tool jammer. I mean, Leon was the only hope, and Leon did deliver.
Yeah, Leon, MVP of that match. And who knew that a supporter like Leon was going to be the reason why Ice Rider is a lot better now, because being able to go through jammers and being able to have that extra push against something like Mewtwo V-Union for Ice Rider is usually enough for that deck to sometimes win a match.
Definitely. And I really like using the Leon over something like the Radiant Halucha, with the Radiant Halucha only doing those extra damage to VMAX Pokemon. So I think that it was really smart using something like the Radiant Greninja, being able to draw more cards and, get some water energies in the discard pile for Melanie plays, or even the Palkia V-Star Subspace Swell, a Star Portal ability to be able to attach some energies to water Pokemon. I really like using the Leon over the Radiant Halucha in that aspect as well.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Greninja is just kind of really good, and that draw 2 cards was really good, especially when you combine it with Melanie. And that was interesting, because the thing with Ice Rider is it's always having a Melanie every turn. It's hard for Ice Rider to be able to play those excess supporters. Something like Leon or Boss are a lot harder to use when you're having to constantly use Melanie. And I didn't even think we saw the Palkia there hit the board at all in those 2 matches. And the
Right, which
Palkia, yeah. The
yeah,
Palkia
I
is
think it
really
was
good.
smart not to. I think it was
Yeah,
smart to leave Palkia out for that one.
yeah, because Palkia is not doing a lot of damage, but it's interesting because Palkia makes Ice Rider good because you're able to use Star Portal, which allows you to play an extra supporter on your turn that doesn't have to be Melanie. And the fact that not even Palkia needed to be used there for that Star Portal effect to help Ice Rider was pretty fascinating.
Right. It really shows how powerful Ice Rider still can be, even without using something like that, to where you do have those extra energy attachments. As long as you have your energies when you need them and you attach them appropriately, you're still able to do really big damage with just 2 energies, be able to move around, use different supporters other than Melanie, and still be able to sweep a tournament and win the Tournament of Champions here with the Shuffle Squad. So congratulations to Owen for winning the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, big congrats to Owen for winning, and also big congrats to Lucas for making the finals with that Arceus Mewtwo deck. And of course, congrats to every other player who made top 8. Pretty good accomplishment, and I'm glad we got to see some pretty interesting matches there. The Coco Arceus deck was really cool to see. We got to see that Arceus Mewtwo deck. We even got to see some Mewtwo action. Thankfully, in that second game, Lucas was able to get that Mewtwo going, so we ended up even getting to see Mewtwo V-Union do its thing, which was really exciting to see. So we had some pretty good matches today, and none of them really felt one-sided. A lot of the matches did feel like they were really close and really intense.
Right, definitely. And it makes me even more excited for Worlds, knowing what on earth are people going to bring to that. I mean, we are having, like we said, every single top 8 deck was a different deck. And
Yeah.
nothing that I necessarily expected. We didn't even have a Palkia in the top 8, right? We had, other than it being thrown in with an Ice Rider deck, I mean, we had 8 completely different decks in this top 8, which is really exciting. It's going to bring a lot of different decks to Worlds. It's going to be a really exciting time to see what type of decks people are going to bring.
I agree. I think Worlds is going to be a very interesting meta. A lot of people are going to be looking to test against some of these big decks. I know decks like Stonejourner or VMAX are starting to make a name for itself now. And I'm excited to maybe see what people come up with for Worlds. If this is what we got to, a little bit of a sneak preview in this top 8, I wonder what Worlds will bring us and what spicy decks or cool contraptions people are going to come up with for the World Championships.
Right, exactly. It's going to be something else to see. And I really hope we start to see more of these different types of decks coming out from the meta. I mean, we're just seeing a lot of different things getting some plays, which I think is what we really needed for the format right now. Just a lot of different things happening. Arceus make things to where you can really pair it with any V or even another V-Star. You don't have to use a Starbirth ability. You don't have to use another V-Star's ability. You can still pair Arceus with just about any other V or VMAX V-Star in the format, and you can come up with a crazy deck that can be really good.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see if that Arceus Coco Decidueye deck makes waves at the World Championships, because it doesn't seem very bad in the meta right now, and it does have some pretty good matchups, as we saw Travis took it all the way to top 4.
Right. So again, congratulations to everybody who played today and everyone who did well. Top 8, top 4, top 2. Owen with the win there. It was really exciting to watch everybody. I hope everyone enjoyed watching the tournament today. We had a really great time casting this for everybody. While you're here, make sure to subscribe to the Shuffle Squad YouTube channel. We have a lot of really great content creators making some really awesome videos. Basically, every single day?
Yeah, daily content almost, yeah.
Yeah, and we are really excited to make this content for you guys as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel while you are here. And LDF, you got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, we got some pretty awesome projects on the horizon here at the Shuffle Squad. So definitely you want to make sure you're staying tuned to the channel later this week for some really cool new video content on the channel. That's all I got to say about that.
That's all we got to say about that. Well,
but,
again,
yeah.
LDF, it has been fun casting with you.
You too, Lindsay. It was an honor as always. Once again, big shout out to everybody who played in the tournament and everybody who did well in the tournament and who made top 8. So congratulations to everybody. And there you go.
And yeah, until next time, everyone have a good night.
See ya.
Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com and at the checkout screen, make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, they have them there as well at atlaspokemart.com. And the best part is, the TSS12 code works there as well. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
This video is sponsored by PokeXWord.com, the best place to get your fill of Pokemon-inspired puzzles. New puzzles are posted every Sunday, and it's a great way to disconnect and have some fun. Not only that, but they also host monthly giveaways on their channel. I personally complete these puzzles every week and can honestly say that they're pretty challenging. They've recently added a puzzle with flavor text only, which is a ton of fun. Be sure to follow PokeXWord on Twitter to get notified when new puzzles are posted and when their giveaways are live.